So, for those of you who may or may not have ever seen a shallow well jet pump, this is a shallow well jet pump. There should be a snout sticking off on this, and this is where your main water comes in, and then it gets pumped up and gets pushed down into this tank, and then this tank has an air bladder in it, some air fitting on the back side of it, and that bladder there will only hold a certain amount of pressure, and then as the water pumps it up, the water will push back the air bladder until about this point here where it's completely squished flat. And then this little gem right here, the relay will click off, and then the relay stops the pump. So you'll draw water, which will come out of that bottom, and as you draw water, the pressure switch won't come back on until it's released all the pressure that's inside. So the air bladder will push, and then you'll get water out of there, and then once the water's depleted from that section there and it requires more pressure, cycles back on again and starts pumping the water back out. So basically when you turn your faucet on inside the house, that thing will just run for a couple of seconds, and then when it fills the tank up, the process goes over and over again. So essentially, the pump's not running continuously. It's using air for some of the time to force the water, and then it's using electricity for the other time. So the vanes inside this pump eventually grenaded. I don't know if you can see inside of here or not, but this thing is in pretty bad shape. So what my theory is that the inside of this pump, and this is a pretty old pump, the inside of this pump finally grenaded, and when it did, that was like the first time in several years that we've had water not moving in our house, because usually there's laundry going on or something else going on, and I think that contributed to our water line freezing. And our water line goes out to the end of the house. That's about 4 feet down. Goes out to that tree, and it goes up the road, and it goes up the road, and way past that sign, and way up and around that corner up there is where it is, about 350 some odd feet. So it's gravity feed to the house, and then the jet pump, which is down underneath, inside the house, underneath where Toby is. That's where the pump was. So, while we're trying to figure all this stuff out, I'll show you what our temporary measure is here until we get our water going again. This is our water line. We jacketed it up. It's got some heat tape on it. Got some insulation underneath it, which I do need to finish putting insulation. I'm going to do that today. We're off because we're waiting for a drill rig to show up. Well, not a drill rig. We're waiting for a guy to take a look and see if they can drill here. I don't think there's going to be a problem, but it's worth a shot. I'm on my way, Ted. So I figured I'd show you the other end here. So this is where the line comes down through. And down in here, to keep the water from going back up the hill, this is my sump pump bucket. Normally that would be standing straight up and down. You put a sump pump in it. Normally the top wouldn't be open and exposed, but in this case this was all we had at the moment. So this is what we went with. Let's see if I can get a shot of that valve thing in there. No, not going to be able to. Anyways, there's a foot valve at the bottom of this, and that gives the pump something to push up against. Yeah, I can't get anywhere near that thing. You're just going to have to trust me on this. So a foot valve is a one-way valve. So water, when it gets sucked in there, sucks all the way up that line back up to the house. And when the pump stops sucking, the valve goes tunk and it closes. And then the water can't pour all the way back down, because otherwise you'd be constantly sucking water back up and down the pipe all the time. But that's the long and short of it. That's how our temporary water's working. It's 25 degrees now. I gotta get some insulation underneath this pipe here. I gotta pick that up today. As you can see, the heat tape's working. This thing's starting to melt down in, but like my buddy was telling me, if I don't get something underneath here to elevate this, this is gonna give us some trouble, because we're gonna be in the minus temperatures again in the next couple of days, and I guarantee you that we won't get drilled quite that fast. So we may be using this for a while, right, Ted? Ted says right.